Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of Nuggets Don't Fly. As always, I am joined with the two big men. Graham Crawford, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, Chappy. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, as always, he is joined with Ollie Webb. How are you?
I'm great, Chappy. Getting some buzz off the podcast, so highlight of the week for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So, it's tradition, we should all have a drink with us. I have got some cloudy apple juice. Not from concentrate. I'm a big fan of it, I must say. Definitely recommend. Ollie, what have you got?
Got two drinks actually. Cheating the system. I've got a nice Tropicana orange juice. Nice little Christmas themed glass there because it's never too soon. And nice little pint of water as well. Just because you need that for all the talking we're gonna do. So
not bad. Graham, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got two as well, but they're both different sort of glasses. So, water bottle. Water.
What does the water bottle say?
Mr. Strong. It's my flatmates. I have to give him a shout out for that one actually. And I've got a.
Is that Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got a cup of tea, and it says on it, if you can see that.
Yep.
I'd rather be playing rugby.
Is that true?
Second to the podcast.
Oh, good man.
Right.
Yeah. Any crack for us this week, lads? Anyone got any stories?
I had a lovely little week myself. Not much. Not that great of a story, but sure the weather was great down here. So I had 3 days in a row at the beach, a few cans, a few swims, and just good vibes all around. So that's my
try to barbecue at the beach.
Didn't get the barbecue. We tried to obtain the old disposable barbecue, but Tesco don't have them in yet. So bit of a shame, but picnic came in as a close second. So we were satisfied there anyway. So
fair enough, Annie. What did you have in your picnic?
I had a wee sandwich. Started off with the ham and cheese sandwich. Bit of hummus on the side, bit of a dip because I've been saving up money with less drinking this year, so you can get those things. And a good bag of potato crisps. And sure, I was on the cans of Harp, but not my favourite. But I didn't pick them, so can't complain now. So
fair enough, Alec.
The other potato crisps are unbelievable, aren't they?
Oh, I on the next level. Like the flavour's more subtle and melt in the mouth consistency, but very very enjoyable indeed.
Yeah,
they're probably the goat.
Oh, they're the goat for sure. Yeah.
Bit of hunky dories on the side as well, on.
Bit of buffalo flavour.
Aye, buffalo's the best.
Yeah, I don't know where they came out of.
Graham, have you got
any stories?
Graham, have you got any story for us this week?
Let me think here. What day is it today? It's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised by we visit from the man himself.
Who, Chappy?
From Chappy, yeah.
Unreal scenes.
Yeah.
The podcast host himself.
Yeah.
Minor celebrity Jack Chapman.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Very big celebrity.
That was some crack.
Tell us what happened, Chappy. You madman.
Yeah. So I was just flying over to Scotland, and I thought I'd stop off and say hello to Graham. And I said to Graham, "Oh, I've a wee package coming for you at about 3:00." And he told me explicitly that he doesn't work weekdays, so I was like, "Oh, a surprise will be fine." But he's like, "Yeah, I'm working that day. I'll just get my flatmate to collect it." So I rocked up to his flat and I was there for like 7 hours, just like me and his flatmates just chilling. But then he came back and he said, "Oh, where's this parcel?" He had no idea what was in it. So we just got this random box, and I just wrote Graham's address on it, like no stamps or anything like that. Like it was just a box with a pen on it. And what did you think was in it, Graham?
I thought there was a. You said there was something to do with Nuggets Don't Fly, so I thought it was a new T-shirt saying Nuggets Don't Fly in it or something.
T-shirts would be unbelievable.
Yeah, or a hat or something.
Yeah. Oh, it would have to be like shirts or ties, though, I think.
Yeah, have to be.
So yeah, he was just looking at the box, and I just pretty much jumped on top of him around the corner, surprised him. And then the next day we were walking along the streets of Edinburgh, and a random fan came up to us. It was actually our first fan interaction. So yeah, that was, we're going international at the moment. We're getting big.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah.
Here, the only way is up. I expect more in the future.
Yep. Straight out on it.
Yeah. Right. So should we get on to the rugby then?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. First game was the Italy versus Ireland one. Graham, any like big talking points from that match for you?
I think the biggest talking point was probably the amount of opportunities Ireland missed, the amount of mistakes they were making as well. Definitely could have had over 50 points on them. But yeah, I think they had a good game though. They're consistent in the way they scored a few tries and stuff. Got the bonus point. Got what they needed. But Italy played all right as well. But I mean, Italy's playing okay, but at the same time, they're not getting points. They're not really doing anything. So I don't know what to say about Italy.
We say every week, like there's not really much you can take away from a match versus Italy, because it's like you're playing the under-20s or something. Like it's a free game. Ollie, which Irish player stood out for you there in that match?
There was quite a few standouts. I thought Gary Ringrose was exceptional, to be honest. His offload was very good. Was that to put Will Connors in? Will Connors was another standout, but I can't remember if that was for his try or someone else's. But Will Connors was very good, and he'd definitely be my starting 7 going forward. CJ Stander, as ever, was just a workhorse.
It was 7.
Sorry?
Will Connors was 7. I think Tyburn was 6.
Yeah.
Will Connors was 7. Yeah.
I think that.
Ringrose
as well did really well.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Yeah. Oh, he was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. It was a shame to see Jordan Larmour go off early, because I think he's a fantastic player. Showed us a few examples of his feet and his ability to beat defenders. But yeah, Ringrose, Will Connors, and CJ Stander were the 3 standout men for me, really. Tyg Byrne as well was very solid, as he always is.
Whole back row was solid again. And the 2 second rows, I think that was a good decision to put O'Connors and Byrne at flankers.
Yeah, it was. Do you think, Graham, that like, obviously with O'Mahony being out for, I think, like, he's not back next week, is he?
I don't think so. No.
O'Mahony.
I think he's banned.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think's got that new back row jersey? Like, is it Byrne or is it Connors or even Rhys Riddick?
I think Byrne. Well, Byrne's definitely got a starting jersey in the second row or the flanker. I think he's definitely the standout player for Ireland in the forwards, him and CJ at the moment. O'Connor's he scored 2 tries last weekend, and I don't know how many. I think he's capped about 7 times, and he's been playing very consistently as well.
Yeah,
Leinster as well, been playing well. So I think he deserves it. Yeah, definitely. Could be the next Sean O'Brien.
yeah, he really didn't look out of place at all on the weekend. Someone who disappointed me was one of his other Leinster teammates, and I really expected him to have a big game. James Lowe, like, he didn't play terrible, but I expected him to get a few. Ollie, like, how do you think he played?
I was exactly the same. I was going to mention him later on if it wasn't mentioned. He was very poor. It was as if he wasn't on the pitch most of the time. You just like there's some really good wingers are always looking for the work coming in inside. Keith Earls is a great example of that, but James Lowe he just kind of tends to stay in his wing and just sort of wait for the ball to come to him, and then he got a few chances and he was put into touch. He did silly offloads that weren't done.
Yeah.
He got his try, which he did get his try, which was well taken, but yeah, he was quite disappointing, and I don't think he's had his chance this Six Nations, and I think Stockdale should come back in ahead of him. Because everyone was saying James Lowe should take out Stockdale, but James Lowe's now had his fair shot and hasn't really delivered. I don't think so.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah, Stockdale. They're all complaining about Stockdale's defense, but James Lowe thinks defense was even worse.
Yeah, and at least with Stockdale, Stockdale made the most meters in international rugby last year. Like, he's constantly looking for work and he's constantly looking for the ball, whereas James Lowe can just be completely anonymous and completely out of the game at times.
Yeah.
Ollie, against Scotland, Ireland's next match, who would be your starting back three?
Keenan would be a 15. I've talked about him on every episode of this podcast. I really, really do like Hugo Keenan at the moment. So I'd go for Keenan. I'd go for Stockdale on one wing, 11 or 14, doesn't really matter. And I think I'd have to go for a Keith Earls for experience. Although going forward, I'd like to see. Oh no, I changed my mind. I go for Jordan Larmour and get a young back three together and a new combo, which we haven't tried.
Yeah, that's a good shout actually, Ollie. I'd have to agree with that.
Larmour, yeah, I think, Jordan.
Oh, you could.
Oh yeah, no, just Jordan Larmour's a very exciting player and a man who can make something out of nothing. And Ireland need as much of that as possible because apart from that, they're quite boring and they're quite easy to defend against. So
yeah. Larmour, yeah, he knows. I think he's got the experience now as well, so which is good.
Yeah, definitely
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, you've got to remember, like, for the likes of Larmour and all, who maybe haven't got, like, loads of Ireland caps. Like, do you remember that year? Was it 2018? They won the Grand Slam, they won the league, and they won the European Cup. So they won everything they could that year. So, throw the players in the deep end, like, and see if they can swim. That's what I think, especially these Leinster boys. Like, they've been playing at that level with, like, the Leinster. It's almost better than an international team.
Leinster team.
Yeah.
The Leinster team.
Yeah, like the competition and the squad and stuff.
Yeah, they've got such a good development squad. Like, they've got so much depth.
Oh yeah, no, they're unbelievable, to be fair. I don't know, it would be a very interesting match to see Leinster against the other three combined. But I think with those boys winning everything in that 2018 year, like, I think, like, a reason we kind of failed at the World Cup was because we all thought they were unreal and they were ready. Like, I remember James Ryan, he didn't lose a match for, like, I think his whole season in international and club rugby, and we're like, Jesus, he's the next Lions captain and all the rest. But, like, it turns out he wasn't quite that good. He is still unbelievable, but we got, like, false hope and thought we really were, like, completely ready. But it turns out, like, because they were so good in that year, you feel like they've all got 50 odd caps, but, like, Jordan Larmour's still on only 20 odd and he's still very young, so they'll still benefit from more and more game time.
I completely agree. But yeah, Keenan, I think, will be definitely getting a few more caps under his belt in the next few years.
Yeah.
You're definitely rating him.
Graham, back to the point about like the James Ryan and all. Out of James Ryan, Tag Byrne, and Big Henderson, if you could only, would you pick and why?
Um,
Then this is the next match against Scotland.
are basing it on playing well this Six Nations. I would probably pick Byrne and Henderson. I think that a lot of people wouldn't like that, but Ryan, he's been playing well, and maybe future captain of Ireland and all, but Henderson and Byrne have been playing well this Six Nations, but Ryan just needs to maybe. I don't really know what he should do, but Byrne and Henderson they've been playing well, so I give them a shot. And
Henderson was unlucky for I think it was around the 8-minute mark where he scored that try, but it got ruled out.
Yeah.
Did any of you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Very stupid decision.
Yeah, I saw it at the time. At the time I was reaching, I thought he'd knocked it on, but once you look at the replays, it was a clear and obvious try. So
I think Henderson has 4 turnovers, the top turnovers of the Six Nations.
Show that.
And
it's a good stat now. He has been playing very, very well. So
yeah.
Anything else you just want to talk about in that game?
Well, did you see the front row much? I didn't really notice them that much.
I honestly I thought Kelleher played quite well. I thought he played all right. His line-out throws, I think they got all of them.
Yeah.
He carried well. Did you see he gave Robbie the eyes for like the over-the-top line-out throw?
Yeah.
I think that was in like the first half or something.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and like Herring's just solid. I think Kelleher, like, he's probably got a higher ceiling, and obviously he's a Leinster boy as well, which doesn't hurt. But I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Kelleher is the man going forward. Herring's been very, very good. Well, very, very solid, but I agree Kelleher has a lot more potential.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is that I would have wanted to see the debutants, Casey and Baird, get on a bit earlier. The game was won by the 55-60 minute mark, really. Probably half time, to be honest. But he waited till like the last 15 minutes to bring them on, and I know it's like there is an argument to be said for that, like blooding them in gently and all that sort of stuff. But like the game was won, and they would have benefited more than the players that were staying on the pitch, I think.
Yeah, I think Sexton and what's his name, Gibson Park. I think they're actually quite a good partnership on that game. Sexton, I think, played his best game in a while. Gibson Park played his best game in a while. Haven't really mentioned him, but to be fair to him, he did play well. And you can notice the Leinster pairing. Like, you can notice that they're working well together at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely a lot to be said for keeping a club pairing of 9 and 10 together, because they know each other so well. Like, if you played like a Cooney and a Burns or something like that, it could be very beneficial for Burns or whatever. But no, Sexton did play well, but it is against Italy, which we have to remember. But I don't give him a lot of praise, but he was good at the weekend. So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree as well. The Philly Eddie, I think Sexton kind of needed it, more than the Burnsy on the bench, and I think he got all his kicks as well off the tee. He just had a very solid game, and it doesn't matter that he's like the most experienced man in the tournament. Like, if you have a good game, have a good game, and he was a contender for man of the match for me, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, and just one quick thing on Italy, boys, before we move on. Like, it's just kind of classic. Like, they are actually quite a good team. Like, but they just don't finish off their tries. Like, they show good promise in plays, make little small breaks, little nice chips and all. Like, they seem to have everything there, but they just can't finish off their tries for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they always seem to start games so fast. Like, how many times do you like be missing? You're like 5 minutes late for the match, and you turn it on, and Italy are like 5-0 up, and you're like, oh, like they start lightning quick, but they just burn themselves out by half time every single game.
Ollie, how far off and how many years do you think it is until Italy are actually given teams in tournaments like an actual game, and it's not just a 5 point like hand me down pretty much?
I don't. That's a very hard question, because if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, I would have said 5-10 years. But you're asking me it now, and I'm saying 5-10 years again. The one thing they need to fix is just their defense. They miss too many soft tackles, and if you just fix that, you're gonna give teams a game. Like, it might not win them games, but it'll stop them getting hammered by like 40-50 points every week. Like, against France especially, their tackling was very bad. Like, lads just slipping through. And I know you get tired towards the end of the game and the game's gone, but like, I don't know. Like, I think that's the main thing. But I'll say 5-10 years again. But if I was coaching Italy, I would just like completely focus on the defense and be like, right, we're gonna get competitive, and then we're gonna work on trying to win games, because at the moment they're just doing neither. So
when they have the ball, they're exciting.
What were you saying, Griff?
When they have the ball, they're actually quite exciting. Like, if they kept onto the ball without dropping it or stupid offloads, I'd say they would be doing all right.
I think as well. Have any of you seen the movie Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No,
never seen it.
All right, it's about this like psychopath guy who goes around like taking videos of like car accidents or something. And he was saying how for like teams to be successful, whether it's like an ice hockey team or like a school of fish or something, that like communication is like the number one factor for success. I think as well, Ollie, you mentioned like the France game. Like, there was times where there would be like 5 or 6 guys just in the blind side, just not marking anyone. And then you look across the team that's been played these past couple of weeks. A lot of new guys, like, they might be talented, but like if the guy inside you and outside you has a combined total of like 7 caps, like you do need the experience at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, you do, definitely. It's just a bit disheartening as well to be out of the game by half time. It's hard to keep doing another 40 minutes of intense defending, and like you say, like, they're getting their numbers wrong, but like a part of that, as we all know from playing, is like it's easier just to sit there rather than working the sprint round. And when you're tired and the game's gone, like, there's probably a bit of a motivation factor there as well, because like being an Italian rugby player is really not the easiest lifestyle, to be honest. Like, I mean, I remember, like they said, Carlo Cana has played 36 Nations games and hasn't won one yet. And like, you really do have to feel sorry for him, but like, it must be hard to get out of the bed and some mornings and knowing that, like, so.
But to be fair, when they win one game, I think they'll probably have the biggest party ever. even if it's against like Georgia or something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, that's the highs and the lows of the international rugby.
I think if the next time Italy win a Six Nations game, I would like to have a few cans with the lads, like, definitely, in Rome or wherever it is.
Big question, lads. Will Italy win the Six Nations in our lifetime?
No.
No,
Definitely
not a chance.
Unless there's a pandemic or something again.
No.
There's been a pandemic this year.
I know, but like Italy.
Yeah, we're going through a pandemic.
But I mean, like Italy is the only country who doesn't have it or something.
Oh, true.
That's kind of suspicious, like, isn't it?
Just for the Six Nations.
They just play all the rugby and win. No, like, I just can't see it at all. You need the format of the Six Nations, especially this year, like, so much more competitive.
Yeah.
got, like, if you're talking about Italy winning it, you need to have 5 teams who've dropped massively in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think they'll get a golden generation though, and they'll win it at least once in our lifetime. I think.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking like 50, 60 years there, touch wood. So I would think they'll get a good enough team to do it at least once.
Maybe even if they got like 3 wins in a tournament, I'd be happy for them. Very happy for them.
I'd be happy for anyone. Like even if they
anyone,
beat
yeah.
Ireland one time, like a part of me would be like, you know what, like it's actually all right.
Yeah. Maybe,
Do you remember like Declan Kidley's last game in charge?
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was a
loss
loss away to Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun at all.
Fair enough.
They've never beaten England, have they? No.
Right, should we go on to the Wales match now?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I don't think they have, to be honest. So yeah, there's quite a lot to talk about here, lads.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, we all know big win for Wales. Did anyone call a Wales win?
I think we all did.
I think
did
we
not?
all did, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, lads. Yeah, we 3
Go
for
back
3.
and watch episode 2 for the proof.
3 pundits know what they're at. We're pros.
Yeah. So first thing that I want to talk about is Bossman Hardy at scrum half. He was probably my player of the round for this game week. I'd heard of him only at the start of the tournament. Does anyone know what club he plays for?
Never even heard of him.
I'm not sure.
Maybe like probably a Welsh club or something.
Probably.
I thought he was good, lads. I thought he was very good.
He was in my fantasy team.
Oh, shy Tommy.
Yeah. I find that players on their debut, I always find tend to have a big game. So, but no, he was very good. His try was taken very, very well. So, fair play to him.
Yeah. Solo try as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there should be any controversy about that. Like, he's quick thinking on his first start for his country as well. Like to have balls to do that. Like, fair play to him.
He'd be buzzing.
He's on his toes.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of John Cooney.
John Cooney?
Kind of reminds me of him, yeah.
We'll mention him at any opportunity on this podcast. He did get charged down a few times, so Itoje isn't like an absolute nightmare for scrum halves. Like,
what's going on with Itoje at the moment, Ollie? Like, I know he's all this type of player, but like, he's going to test now, is he not?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just like you said, he always is this type of player, but he never seemed to be getting caught before. So either the referees are like looking out for this stuff a little bit more, or else he's just pushing it that wee bit further. And I think he's pushing it that wee bit further, and I think it's because England aren't playing well, so he's kind of trying to take all the responsibility on his shoulders, and he's trying to turn the game around completely by himself, and he's just getting it wrong at the moment. But I mean, he's still an absolutely world-class talent, and I'm sure he'll fix that very quickly. But not going to lie, he has been a big cause of costing England 2 games they've lost, because he's given away 5 penalties by himself, I think, in both of them, which is not really up to the standard that it needs to be. So
I'd be disappointed in myself if I gave away 3 penalties a game, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You've just got higher standards than like a British and Ireland second row game.
Yeah. Well, I told you, to be fair. Like, just I don't know what he's thinking. He should be more professional, to be fair to him. Like, he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would nearly even think of taking him off when he's like when he's in one of those moods and he's just giving away penalties left, right, and centre.
He just doesn't care.
I know he's so good, but like if you take him off and just be like, here, like you can't do that. Like,
Yeah, that leads me on to my next question. Graham, do you think Itoje is playing himself out of contention for like that starting Lions position?
Like to giving away penalties just for it.
Well, no, yeah. So like obviously he's been like not performing the best these past few weeks.
Yeah.
Is he playing himself out of that starting
Oh,
Lions jersey?
all right. What you said playing in? I was like, what? And then, what? I don't. I think so. Yeah, a wee bit. A wee bit. He is.
Yeah,
I mean, he. To be fair, they're not getting club games at the moment for Saracens or anything, and he's not been playing the best for England. Well, he's been one of the standout players for England, actually. So I mean, I don't really know, but there is a good few second rows I think who I would pick before him. Bernard Henderson will have to get in there, I think.
yeah.
Maybe even the Scottish second rows like Gray, he's playing well. There's a lot. Alun Jones, there's so many to choose from, but I think Toji's not playing well
Alaman
compared to them
Jones
all.
is the third joint tackler in Six Nations,
Which is class, and he's so old.
which is very good.
Yeah.
I think like considering going into the tournament, everyone thought that partnership would be Itoje and Ryan.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's not looking great for either of them.
Maybe it's because they thought they got all the hype that Ryan and Antosia would be the Lions second row, but now they maybe got too much pressure on them to play well.
Possibly. Ollie, what did you think? Bigger played.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Bigger was very good, to be honest. Definitely outplayed George Ford in the 10 battle. Now, very quick thinking for the first try and very controversial try. You still have to praise Bigger for like he executed the kick perfectly and he thought on his feet, so he was very good. He controlled the game completely. However, I think the standout number 10 of the whole weekend was the man who came on to replace Dan Bigger, Callum Sheedy. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable, and I think I would start him for Wales next. So, like, Bigger was very, very solid, but Callum Sheedy was absolutely exceptional, I thought.
Was he the other 10 that came
Would
on?
you give Sheedy? Yeah, he was the replacement one. Would you give him the nod against Italy to start then?
Oh, I think he was going to get the nod against Italy. I'd say that was in the plan, but I'd even give him the nod against France. Like obviously get Italy over first and see how he does there with all the pressure of starting. But based off the back of that performance against England, if France was up next, I'd be saying to start him against France. He's just his attack. He brings a lot more in attack than Bigger, like the cheeky wee dummies, little kicks, all that sort of stuff. And his place kicking is very solid too. And I think he's Wales's next 10 for the next 10 years. I think they're fairly safe and sorted in that position. So nice for them anyway.
Yeah, I can see what you're trying to say about Sheedy, but I think still, like Wales's game plan this tournament has seemed to be we'll stay in the game for as long as we can, and then we'll see what can happen. That seems to be like what they've done for pretty much all their games so far. And I think Bigger is up there with Ford in terms of like game management for fly halves. And like you see his communication to the players and to the refs as well. Like it might not be the nicest way of putting it when he argues with them, but like he definitely dictates what happens on the pitch for all the Welsh players. Graham, another guy who stood out for me in that Welsh team was and maybe my starting line at the moment was Wyn Jones at Loosehead. He's put in back to back pretty decent, like 7.5, 8 out of 10 performances. You said that Sinclair didn't have that jersey locked down as one of the props.
Yeah.
Do you think that Wyn Jones could get the other jersey?
I say, Wyn Jones has been playing very well. He's like a new tag Furlong back in the day.
Yeah, he is a bit of a weird one, isn't he?
I think Sinclair definitely is competition. Everyone has the competition for the Lions jerseys these days, but this will be a big competition jersey here. But yeah, when Jones has been playing well, he's been consistent. That's all you need in a prop: consistent scrumming, line out lifts, ball carries, tackling. Like just been consistent all around. That's what you need, I think.
Yeah.
Deserve the call up.
I think two starting props of Wyn Jones and Sinclair would not be bad.
Yeah.
And Ollie, at the moment, I would say the man who's got that hooker position is maybe even Ken Owens. Who would you put in for hooker?
Ken Owens is a great shout, to be fair. Yeah, that's the thing. I would put Cowan Dickey. I just think I think Cowan Dickey's unbelievable, and I cannot work out why he doesn't start for England. I think those Ken Owens and Cowan Dickey will be the two, and it might actually be Ken Owens the starting hooker for his experience, but Cowan Dickey off the bench is a phenomenal sub to be able to bring on. Great ball carrier, very strong, and you wouldn't want him coming on after 60 minutes. But I'd say apart from that, the young Scottish hooker has been probably the third standout, because the big names like Jimmy George and like your Rob Herrings and stuff like that haven't quite been putting their hand up quite as much. So
Herring's not exactly a big deal, is he?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sure he's big enough. He's Ulster captain at the end of the day for many years. So that's as good as anyone.
Oh, Ollie's right there.
I've always liked him, to be fair. He's a legend.
Yeah. Ulster legend.
Graham, how do you think?
Yep.
Graham, what did you think of the Welsh back three, and especially that Liam Williams try? I think it was the second one.
Was that the one where the knock-on sort of?
Yeah, so it came off Ray Samet, and Williams just picked it up.
People are saying it's not a try. People are saying it is a try. So, I mean, he technically dropped it, but then he hit it off his foot, and then it hit against an England player before it actually hit the ground. So it never actually hit the ground. So I think the try counts, to be fair. But England's complaining that it wasn't. Everyone's complaining that it wasn't, but I think it was a very hard decision, to be fair to the ref. Like, you can't really give the ref much stick because both times are so controversial. Like, people are gonna obviously give him stick for that, but I don't think it was his fault. Two very hard decisions in one match, like in a very high profile game as well. Can't really blame him for it.
Yeah, we'll just talk about that Williams try first. My interpretation of it was that Reece Samet knocks it onto himself, so he kind of hits it off his hand onto his body, and then the ball goes backwards. So, when I was first watching the game, I didn't think that should have been a try at all. But looking back on it, I think it should have. Ollie, I don't know what your take on that is, but I think it should have stood.
I thought, is that not a knock-on if it hits off your hand and hits a different part of... No, because you can hit onto your foot, can't you? So
it's a hard one.
Yeah, or you can fumble it as well. Like if you can hit off the chest.
I thought you had to
have full control.
Yeah, no, I don't see. It's even very hard to talk about now. Like it's really hard. I remember during the match, even the referee made his decision, and the TMO was like, "Are you sure about this?" Because neither of them. It's one of those
the TMO
one in a million.
Take a step back.
Yeah, the TMO was like, I'm not having any of that. Like, the TMO being sure that he wasn't sure, wasn't sure. Like, it's one of those like 1 in a million complete freak incidents that like it's very hard to know what to do. To be honest, if I had been the referee, I wouldn't have given it because I had given the first try already. Like, that would have been my thought process, to be honest. I think the referee has actually come out and said that he was wrong to give the try.
All right.
So no, I think I would have given a knock on, just on the balance of everything, especially after giving away the first try. So
I don't know what the rugby
And
rules
yeah,
are
Ollie,
actually for it.
that Ollie, for that Adams try, the bigger crossfield kick, that was around the 15-minute mark. Should that have stood as well? Like, we're looking at this as two separate, entities and incidents, not like together.
Looking at it separately, so like, yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about this, so I'm actually going to just rob their points, because they're very good points. So that Andy Good on the Rugby podcast, that's a shout out to him.
Shout out to the Rugby pod.
He was saying that Owen, like the referee told him to told Owen Farrell to talk to his team, but he didn't tell him to like bring them in and bring all the water guys on. Like he didn't give him permission to do that. He said like have a quick word with your team. So therefore like it would like the referee didn't tell him to do that. Like didn't explicitly tell him to do that. So Andy Good's point was that Owen Farrell should have asked for clarification. And if Owen Farrell had been like, yeah, like, do I have a minute to take them in here or whatever? But Owen Farrell just said okay, and therefore he left himself open to that sort of thing happening. People are also arguing that Johnny May had managed to get out to his wing on the other side, so why hadn't Anthony Watson managed to get there? Just all sorts of things. But I don't know, it's good quick thinking from Wales, but I just think it's just a bit of a shitty try, isn't it? Like it's not really how you'd want to win a match. I think it does take the like shine off the Wales win, to be honest. So, but I think probably you can give it, to be honest. But it is just one of them. Like you'd be absolutely raging to concede it. Like,
it's just a bit rubbish. My take on it is that the ref is there to like control the game and officiate the game. So he calls when play starts. He calls when play stops.
Mm-hmm.
The ref handled that situation poorly because you compare it to was it Hardy or Sheedy that got the quick tap?
Hardy.
Hardy.
Like that's the Hardy. Yeah, like that's the ref. That's an example of playing smartly. I think if you compare that to that Adams try, they're two completely different things, because one, the first one there is an excuse because the ref was not clear, and you could say Owen Farrell wasn't clear either, but if there's water bottles and all on the pitch and all that, and like I don't know what Farrell has to do. Is he just going to have to shout to his players across the pitch, or like what? I don't know what the ref expects him to do.
But like
Graham, like currently it's. Or do you agree with Ollie, or would you be more inclined to rule the try out?
I don't know. I'm on the border here. I mean,
sitting on the fence in this podcast.
The England, to be fair, half the England team had set out, were ready on the other side, but on the other side, like Johnny May's side, they weren't ready. So I guess it was kind of England's fault. And did you see there was a thing there? The Saracens did it as well. Don't want to call out any
Yes, it was
players.
against Edinburgh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in like 2000.
I don't know
2010s.
when it was, but I mean, like they did the exact same thing, but it was.
But was it not different because the ref didn't say to speak to your players?
I suppose, yeah. Actually, I don't know, but did I thought Bigger called for posts? Did he not?
No, I
I
think
don't.
there was just an expectation from everyone that he was going to,
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I thought he had
including.
already called Poston and I had to go for Poston.
No, I think the ref almost made that decision in his head, and that's why the ref cannot go back in his decision there because that makes him look so weak.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
that you can play, and then saying, oh no, you can't. The ref made a mistake in saying like time on.
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake in that match.
I agree actually, yeah. I think it was completely the ref's fault, really. Well, not his
Yeah.
fault, but
Oh no, it
he had a
was, to
big
be fair,
part
it
to
was
do.
a badly mismanaged situation from the referee. But given that he said time on, he does have to give the try.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I'm basically trying to say is it is a legal try, but it shouldn't have been like allowed to be scored. So like, praise to Bigger for like doing it, but also like a bit of sympathy for England because it's a real shitty try to concede. So
Yeah. Sportsmanship as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you mean about sportsmanship?
I mean, like, he could have waited. He did.
Oh, no,
He did it because
I-
he knew England wasn't ready.
But I was
would
talking
you
to an
would you
English
wait though,
chap
Graham?
about this. No,
I don't know. Well, if you were
it's
an
like
honest rugby
running
player,
past the player because they're not expecting you to get the ball.
I
It's like
suppose, right?
it's like Hardy taking that quick tap. Like you cannot say that that's bad
Yeah,
sportsmanship whatsoever.
yeah, fair enough. I'll just shut up.
You know, no, but you know, both those tries that takes Wales to a 17-6 lead.
Yeah.
That's quite a substantial lead at that point.
Yeah.
And
England,
then obviously you fast forward to the 60th minute mark. It goes 24-all.
Yeah.
Was anyone expecting England to actually go on and win this game?
I didn't.
At that point, I thought they would. Actually, when they were only 3 points down at half time, I thought England have done so well here. And they're going to come out and turn it around in the second half. But 2 points, first of all, England never really did start to play any rugby whatsoever. And second of all, I said it earlier, but Callum Bashidi came on and turned that game on its head whenever it was 24-all. He was the complete difference maker.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a Wales win the whole time. For some reason, I just felt like Wales was more in the game than England. Even at 24-all, I just felt it was going to be Wales that was going to win it.
Yeah, one of our Instagram followers at McAlpine Archie, he commented saying that the England game plan has been found out. But I don't even know if that's true because it's actually not even clear what they're trying to do. They're just giving away that many penalties that they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And like, I can't even identify a game plan that they have off those first 3 games.
Yeah, I don't know what their game plan is.
Yeah, I think that's like the easy answer. That when teams playing bad, you just say, and they're not really changing. You say their game has been found out. Like they can just be playing rubbish, and they can just be getting unlucky. Like that happens at any level, from grassroots rugby to like international rugby. You can just get unlucky. I think. Who's England playing next?
Ireland?
France.
It's one of the two anyway.
Yeah. Well, Ireland's the last game week.
Right.
Obviously, we're not sure what's going to happen with the Scotland-France fixture, so we'll not get into too much detail on that. But that could be an absolute spanking by France, couldn't it?
I don't think so.
Really?
Like, for France to spank Scotland?
No, for England.
Oh, right. Yeah, actually, maybe that one. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I can't see England getting spanked. Just like I would predict a France win, but I can't see it being a spanking. Like,
from the way their year's going now, maybe though.
I'm just waiting for that England performance where they turn up. Like, I'm just waiting because it's inevitable. It's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be boosted
and then,
after this Wales game as well.
Yeah, Eddie Jones will definitely turn things around. Like I wouldn't even be considering getting rid of him. Like he will, if he's given time, he will completely change their game and he will have them ready. Like he's a bit of a people don't like him, and he is a bit of an evil guy. Like that's the way he's presented. But I think he's a phenomenal rugby coach, and he will turn them around. To be fair.
Yeah. Solitaire man of the match. Graham, was that well deserved?
Yeah, he played very well. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Played consistent rugby, and he put in a hit, a few hits as well. Like good, powerful hits, which you love to see from a number 8.
Is he your starting number 8 at the moment for the Lions?
No, actually, no, I don't think so. I think
you can think about it if you want.
Well, maybe, maybe. I think it's big. It's between Falatau and CJ Stander at the moment. Both so consistent. Could even be Falatau and CJ Stander at 6 or something. I think maybe, but yeah, actually now that I think of it, Falatau's probably better. He's been playing.
Yeah, Falatau's got the form and he's got the experience. And like I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be included in at least this match day squad. Anyway,
did he? He was kind of awful wee bit the last few years, was he? Like last year, or was he always consistent?
he had an injury.
That's right, yeah. Fair enough.
And yeah, as well, he's like the tournament's joint second top tackler was 50.
Yeah.
And only one behind Tipperick. So like I think he's been quietly one of the players of the tournament, like very quietly.
I was also thinking at the start of the tournament, I was thinking Vunapola's definitely I would definitely start Vunapola at 8 for the Lions, but now definitely not. Like I don't know if he's just unfit or he's just not playing well.
He's almost. We talked about players playing their way out of the Lions team. Like at this moment in time, I'm not even sure if I'd take him with me at all. Honestly,
like people will complain because it's Scotland as the head coach for the Lions. They'll complain that it'll take too many Wales players, but the Welsh have been consistent. So I mean, fair play if they do get picked.
Yeah. Did you just want to talk about anything else on the Wales match?
No, I think it's well covered. Deserved win, but it should have been a smaller margin of victory, to be fair. But sure, Wales probably be on for a Grand Slam in week 5 now, which is, you wouldn't have said that at the start.
No.
None of us would have predicted that.
Definitely not.
All right. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll go on to talk about the Interpro derbies.
Yeah, that's all
coming
right.
up this weekend. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Nuggets Don't Fly, episode 3. Today we'll just be chatting a bit about the Interpro fixtures for this weekend for Ireland, and then we'll touch briefly on the rest of the Pro 14 games. So first off, probably the biggest match of the season so far for the league is Ulster v Leinster. 6 points between them in the league, and obviously for this year, you've got to top your conference to have any chance of winning the season. So this is a must win for pretty much both teams as well. Graham, how do you see that game going in Belfast?
Oh, I didn't realise it was in Belfast. But I don't know. I feel like Ulster, Leinster. Yeah, I hear Leinster.
Those are the two teams.
I don't know. It's a hard one to decide on who wins.
Okay. Ollie, do you have any idea how that game will
go? No, Graham's right in saying it is a tough one to decide. It all depends on what teams or what teams both teams put out. I take it the internationals won't be playing, will they? The Irish teams don't play their internationals in between, do they?
I
Or
don't think so, no.
So yeah, I'll give you just the names of some players coming back. The Leinster one, we've got Ed Byrne, the prop, coming back, Ross Byrne, the fly half, and then the two flankers, Rhys Ruddock and Josh van der Fleer. So they're four
play.
very good players.
Yeah.
For Ulster, Stu McCluskey and Tom O'Toole.
Two great players.
Two good players
Tom
coming back.
O'Toole,
Yeah.
Tom O'Toole probably won't even start.
I don't know why.
It is a bit strange, isn't it, that he's in the Ireland squad, but he doesn't start for Ulster.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think, although these players are coming back, and although Leinster have a better squad, we see Ulster getting the win here, but it'll not be a bonus point win, and it'll be tight. It'll probably be like a 17-12 win or something. Ulster teams yet to be announced. But like, you've got to remember, we've got like Cooney, got McCluskey coming back. Coetzee is out injured as well. That's a big loss. And the Ospreys game as well, and the one before that against Glasgow. Those were two pretty important bonus point wins that went missing. And I think, win or loss, we're still not going to make it through to the final. I don't know if you agree, Ollie, but that's my take.
I fully agree. I think it's a real shame this year just that you do have to top the conference. Because I do think we could maybe have got to the final. I think we could have got an away win in the semi-final. But Leinster are just that bit better than everyone else at the moment. I think we will get the win this weekend. And we do tend to beat them actually at home. But it'll be too little too late. And the problem has been just not getting bonus points in wins or in games that we should have, because Leinster always get the bonus point. Like, no matter what, they always find a way, and we seem to always find a way to not get it. And yeah, it's a shame. I think we'll get the win on this weekend, which would be nice, but we'll not top the conference ultimately. But also, is it now 3 or 4 years we've been in the conference with Leinster? Can we not be in it with Munster or Connacht for once? Like, why are we?
Do they change the conference?
I don't know.
Every year.
Maybe they don't change it, and if not, then that's a real shame, because being in with Leinster every time is such a disadvantage.
Did they not have the two top teams battle against each other, the other two, last year? Like the semi-final?
Well, yeah, this is just because of COVID.
Oh, that's so annoying. If Ulster gets a bonus point win against Leinster, they could have a chance topping it if they keep winning their games then.
But for us, Leinster are 6 points ahead of us at the moment. To be fair, we've got an easier run in than Leinster. Leinster still have to play Munster.
Oh.
So realistically, I think even if we get 5 points and Leinster get nothing, we still need Leinster to slip up again and us to be pretty flawless. I just think it's just out of our reach.
Yeah, I think classic Ulster is they're so good. Like, up until Christmas, they look like they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
January, February, they can be good, and then it gets to March and April, and it's as if they've never played rugby before. Like, and then they somehow manage to win a semi-final or something like that, and then the final just never goes to plan, really. So
it's very annoying.
You look at the Leinster team that played Glasgow last week. These are players that are Leinster's club players and aren't involved in the setup. You've got Cronin, you've Toner, Scott Flaherty, Josh van der Fleer was starting against Glasgow, Scott Penny, Luke McGrath, Harry Byrne, Dave Carney, even Rory O'Loughlin's not a bad wee player either. And that's just the starters. Like, Frank Meade, they have some squad, don't they?
International caps as well on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're very hard to compete with. We have a great squad going forward ourselves, though. You like young lads like Ethan McElroy, Michael Lowry, James Hume. So we've got definitely cause to be optimistic, but I think this season is just 1 or 2 too early, maybe.
Yeah, it's exciting to see Balakoon and Jacob Stockdale back as well. Last week, but they both had decent enough games for not having played in a while. And it'll be interesting to see how that battle goes against the two wingers.
I agree. Stockdale back will be quite exciting to watch against Leinster as well, against a good team. I hope he gets a start even. I like Rob Little as well starting. He's a good wee player, good wee runner. Just unlucky last week with the few tries he was denied. And then Balakoon, he a lot of competition.
A hat-trick of disallowed tries.
Yeah, you don't get that many. You don't get that these days now.
Yeah. And then on to the other Irish derby, it's Munster v Connacht. Graham, who do you think will win that one in one word?
I'm gonna. Oh, one word.
Yeah.
Munster.
Why do you think that?
Munster just. I think they dominate Connacht. Connacht's kind of like Italy a wee bit, except better in the Pro 14.
Do you think Connacht is better than Italy?
No, I mean like they're better than Italy are in the Six Nations. They're better in the Pro 14. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Like the
Connacht are second in their conference, I think.
Are they?
Yeah, they're just out quite
but
a bit
maybe
off
like
Munster.
the Connacht are like the Irish Italy.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. Like, to be fair to them, they're fairly good now too. So
the Connacht themselves, they've got Aki coming back, Elton Delane and Dave Heffron.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the crack is with Bundy, but he just seems to not be a Farrell player. Graham, does that upset you a bit? Because I know you're a fan of the big lad.
Yeah, Big Bundy's a big lad, so you can't deny it. He's one of my favourite players. I don't know what's happened to him really. I think, is he injured? No, he's not injured.
No, he's not. He's released back for the derby.
And he's just, I don't know why Ireland isn't even considering him. They're not even considering him on the bench or anything. And he used to be.
I'd say it might have something to do with how well the two centres are playing at the moment. Like, they don't need change.
Yeah, but it's just weird the way Bundy used to be the starter for a good few Six Nations even, but he's definitely Connacht's best player. I would say he's definitely him and Carty. There's a lot of Connacht players who have potential to play for Ireland, but just are very unlucky. Don't know why Bundy Aki's. He's still very good.
Ollie, another kind of forgotten man, Chris Farrell and Andrew Conway. They haven't really been seen or heard of much in the Ireland scene the past year. Do you have any idea why?
I'm a massive fan of Chris Farrell, to be honest. I always liked him. I think you're right. The other two, Henshaw and Ringrose, are just playing that well that there's no need to get the other lads in at the moment. I think if you're looking at like a wider squad, then Aki and Farrell will be the first sort of next two centres in, and then it would be McCluskey after that. But sure, look, any time they're not playing for Ireland, it's a big boost for their clubs. Like, so for Munster to have those two players playing for them is massive, and for Connacht to have Bundy Aki playing for them is huge, and it makes for like an even better game for us to watch. So but no, Chris Farrell, I do like Chris Farrell, and I'd be starting Andrew Conway ahead of Keith Earls at the moment as well, because he's a bit younger and a bit more exciting, I think.
Oh,
I think that as well. I'd rather Conway starting.
You've also got Craig Casey coming back into the Munster setup.
Oh.
Do you think he'll be the difference in that game?
Yes, I believe he will. I believe so.
Fair enough. Has anyone got anything else you want to add onto that picture?
Did you hear Craig Casey singing after the Italian game? He's got some set of lungs on him as well.
Some man. He wears a mullet quite well as well, I must say.
Yeah, he does.
He does, for sure.
He doesn't
But no,
offer him.
I think Munster will win that. I think they have the better forward pack, and it's very hard to beat Munster away from home. So I think it'll be a Munster win.
Yeah.
All right, Graham, you're a Munster win as well.
Munster win, yeah. I think that'll happen.
All right. Yeah, I'll go for that as well. And then we'll go through the rest of the fixtures and just give our one predictions. Hello and welcome back to part 3 of Nuggets Don't Fly, episode 3. As always, we'll go to our individual segments. We will start off with Graham's Yard, I think. Shall we?
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So, Graham, what have you got in store for us today?
I've got the song coming on here.
Oh.
It's a good one today. I might. Right, lads. So I'm gonna give you all advice. So, what would you like advice on, Ollie?
So, Graham, at the moment, I have no jobs on, and I'm looking for another job at the moment. But you're a man who's always got the jobs on.
No.
Many a company has hired yourself. So, give me a hand there. I need a helping hand.
Yeah, that's a
Great question.
Great question, Ollie Webb.
Very good question.
Thank you for that.
No
I'm
problem.
just gonna look into my diary here and see if I have any tips. So, Ollie, first of all, I'd like you to focus on what you have already. Focus on the skills you have, okay?
Okay.
Find experience you didn't know you could find. Okay. Send out a CV if you can to different shops and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I did not think of
that. Make yourself available. Like, just say at the bottom of your CV, available upon request, or there's available Mr. Hicks or something as your reference. Put him as your reference. I'm sure he'll give you a good reference. I've got him down, so I get Hicksy down there, and then maybe this is off the top of the head here. Such a question just popped up. You know, always ready for the unexpected.
Can I ask? Is there any do nots that you would stress? So, like, don't do these things.
So don't walk in with always. Actually, there's a bit more advice, but walk in with a shirt and tie and all.
There we go.
Like, dress yourself nicely. Yeah. Be nice manners. So don't make eye contact with the interviewer if you ever get one.
Don't make eye contact.
No, make eye contact.
Well, I would not have thought of that.
Make eye contact. Aye.
Oh, okay.
Eye contact.
Yeah, stare into him. Are you applying to the Chinese, Ollie? Yeah.
Applied for the Chinese, yeah. I have a quick question for you, actually, Graham.
Yeah.
Would you ever be tempted to lie or exaggerate on the CV, or is that per form?
Yeah.
That's dishonesty there, Ollie. So that's.
So you wouldn't do it?
No, wouldn't recommend it because it might bite you in the butt later on. You know.
But I just went into the bike and said I make the best Chinese in the land. That's what I said. Like, is that all right?
Wait, did you actually?
That's true.
I do. No.
What's the exact position you went for? Like, are you going for the cook?
I'm going for the cook and like the till man and all that sort of stuff.
All right, okay. I think just maybe try and do a bit of cooking at home, Ollie, and maybe send them some photos. Bring in some photos of what you've cooked and all.
Yeah, sure, that could definitely work.
Yeah. So yeah, will I say what not to do? Aye.
Yeah, go touching it there.
I'm touching that a wee bit. Don't be rude. Don't
Okay. Graham, I have another question. I am finding myself very bored and like frustrated during lockdown. Like sometimes I'll just go up to a wall and start punching it.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do I? Do you do that yourself? Yeah.
No.
How do I de-stress and relax and entertain myself during lockdown?
Yeah, it's a good question once again, Chappie.
Thank
So a few things I've done is I bought a book the other day. Haven't actually started it yet, but you should maybe buy a book and start reading.
Okay.
I was gonna say do uni work, but that's not very entertaining. So
Yeah, frig that.
yeah, I did a bit of yoga at home actually with my sister. Did it for about a day. Probably would recommend doing a bit more than a day. It gets your mindset helps your mindset quite well actually. It's quite nice. Maybe try and go for a few walks, go for a run maybe. Just put the headphones in, just go for a wee stroll. It's quite nice to do sometimes.
Listen to a podcast when
Yeah,
you're doing it.
listen to the podcast. Or I'd recommend Big Booty Mix on SoundCloud.
What?
Yeah, it's very good. Ollie, I think you'd like it. Just loads of remixes. It's quite good.
It sounds like the type of thing I would enjoy for sure. A bit of big booty. Like.
Yeah. A bit of gardening maybe. If you have a garden shop, you know.
I've got like a bit of like concrete with like weeds growing out of it,
Yeah, you
so I
can
don't know if that counts as.
maybe do a bit of weeding shopping. What do you have a garden, Ollie?
I have a big garden actually, Graham.
Yeah.
My segment's gonna cover that now in a few minutes.
Very
so
good. You can
I
mow the
look
lawn
forward
and
to
all
showing the
that.
lad.
Aye.
Is that all you've got, Graham?
Yeah, maybe do a bit of baking as well.
Not bad.
Yep.
That puts us on.
Whisper here, a bit of cooking, Graham. Would you do a bit of that?
Do a bit of cooking there now, Ollie. You know.
Yeah.
I think that puts us on nicely to our next segment of Ollie's Corner.
It does indeed. I give a little hint at what's to come, so I'm just going to show you the garden because it's my pride and joy at the moment. So I'll go for a wee walk here for a second. You'd never know what you'd find in this garden here now. So here we go.
It's got its own ecosystem. Oh,
there we go.
Who's this young man?
This young man is this Cormac. Cormac O'Leary, hashtag Corback.
I'm proud to be in the podcast, fellas.
Yeah, good
Big fan.
Good to have you, Cormac. Good to have you.
I'm number one fan now.
So we're just going to have a chat here.
Oh.
We're going to have a small interview with Cormac.
Yep, as you do. Unprepared.
Cormac, who's your favourite rugby player?
I'm going to go for a previous Tommy Bowe, you know, a great, an Ulster great, an Ireland great. You can't beat him.
Great as well.
The best Irish winger of all time. I'm just going to say it now.
That's hard to disagree with.
Yeah, I think that's my opinion now. But, you know,
we're a big fan of Tommy. We're actually going to get Tommy on the podcast soon.
Yeah. Apparently.
If all goes to plan. Who's going to win the World Cup in 2023?
That's a tricky one now, but I'd say initially now I'm thinking France, just because they have the home advantage and they're just building really well. But they do have the tricky side of the draw with New Zealand and South Africa as well. But I'd say if they can get through the group fairly well, I'm confident they'll win.
Nice. And just a silly one to finish.
Of course.
Who's your favourite podcaster?
Oof, that's tough now, but I'm gonna have to say Graham now, because your poem was very good, and the other boys haven't shown off, you know, anything special. They've just gone through the emotions, but Graham went above with the old poem.
Chappie brings it all together.
He does, but you know, as the part that I enjoyed the most, I'm gonna have to give it to Graham there.
Okay,
but you know,
that's Cormac, everyone.
Yeah.
So
nice to meet you, Cormac.
Thanks for joining us, Cormac.
Sure, I'll become a regular. If you ever want to talk, I'll be sitting here.
Oh right.
Yeah. this is where I stay. So anytime you want to, you know, get some opinions, it's hot tub talk.
That's good to know.
Hot tub talk. I like that segment.
Yeah. Is that a new thing?
Okay.
But on that note, I think we'll wrap it up for today's episode.
Sure.
Yeah, that was.
Uh,
You're gonna down your milk? Are
It's
you
just a pint of milk and hot tub. It goes hand in hand, fellas.
gonna down it?
We're gonna down it. Would you like to down it all?
Graham wants to see that. Yes.
I think you'd be fit to do it.
So,
Yeah,
sure, go on.
is there not a ritual for every guest we have on? You've got to chop something.
Yeah, actually.
Right. Jeez, that's why Choppy's here. He's the host and he's the professional man. So, on you go, Cormac.
He wants me to down it.
He wants you to down
Oh,
it.
jeez. I don't want to get milk.
This is descending into absolute chaos. This stage. Yeah, let's get the
Good
one.
man.
You throw on the bubbles. Oh yeah, fine. I'll take it easy.
The
This-
bottom one. There we go.
Good lad.
There we go. We're done. That's Ollie's corner for this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that bombshell, well, thanks very much, Cormac, for joining us.
He's happy to help.
Thanks very much, Graham, for coming on as per usual.
Yeah, thank you, Chappie. It was good to be here.
And thank you very much, Ollie, for that brilliant segment.
No problem, Choppy. A joy as always.
Yes, and thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week to preview some more rugby. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.